Tonight, there is new reporting on how Trump's team is handling the fallout from CNN's report. While Trump has stayed mum about Robinson, he is soon expected to break his silence. The New York Times' Maggie Haberman is here with her reporting. Maggie, thanks so much for being with us. Sources told you that Trump is set to weigh in at some point between now and his event tomorrow in North Carolina. What do you anticipate that's going to look like?
I think it's going to look like saying the minimum. What most people who have talked to him said they expect him to say is some version of, I hardly know the guy. As we know right now, Democrats are airing an ad tying Trump to Mark Robinson, and I don't know if that might make him say something different, if he would, want to condemn it or try to distance himself further and be more forceful about it. But, his team is certainly looking to put a lot of miles between Donald Trump and Mark Robinson, and had been, I should note, leading up to this, because there has been, as discussed before, this swirl of rumors around him for some time, a lot of concerns around him for some time. Trump got behind him anyway, and here we are.
We know Robinson is not expected at that rally tomorrow, but he has been a frequent presence at Trump's events there. The former president has said things like this.
He's been an unbelievable Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson. This is Martin Luther King on steroids. I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King ×2.
Trump's team, as you noted, wants distance between him and Robinson, but Harris, as you noted, is already using that as part of her ads. What goes into the calculus over how much Trump is going to say? Like, how is that decision ultimately made?
The problem with trying to come up with a calculus for what Trump is going to say is that Trump often just then goes out and says whatever he wants, or says something different, or posts at 1 a.m. on Truth Social. And so the plans can get upended by the candidate. What his advisors would like him to do is to put more distance between himself and Robinson. There are some people who thought that Trump needs to publicly disavow Robinson, and I think that's what we are watching for, to see if he does anything like that tomorrow. Saying something like, I hardly know the guy. We have heard him say that about dozens and dozens of people, controversial endorsees, controversial supporters, controversial former advisors, and so the list goes on and on. The weight of what is swirling around Mark Robinson is so much that I think it's going to be hard for Trump to just say that, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a common theme of the Trump era, for sure. So as Trump is preparing for this rally tomorrow, there was a moment at his New York rally. It was just a split second, but it was quite revealing, and I want to play it now.
We will go in to a I thought this was a wise guy coming up. This guy, I thought, I'm getting ready. I'm going like this. I got a little bit of a yip problem here, right? That was amazing. I was all ready to start duking it out.
He describes it as a bit of a yip problem. He seems to flinch when he, out of the corner of his eye, sees some movement and imagines someone lunging out from the crowd. What did you think when you saw that?
So it's interesting. I was in at the arena on Long Island for that rally. It was hard from where we were to see it. I had to go back and look at the video. We could hear him. Clearly something had happened. Looking at his face is very telling, because you see his eyes dart off to the right, and he jerks his body, and he says that he thought that somebody was coming up to the stage. This is clearly his reaction after what happened on Sunday, when there was another apparent assassination attempt on him, the second in just over 2 months. And he is on edge. For him to say that he has a yip problem, which is an acknowledgement of anxiety, is pretty unusual for a guy who likes to project strength at all times. How
is the assassination attempts, this continued warning from officials that Tehran is plotting something to eliminate him, how has all of that changed his views of the race and running for president, if at all?
He and his campaign feel very under siege. They just feel as if they are under attack all the time in one way or another, and for a variety of reasons. There are physical threats, there are internet threats, there is a number of threats, and it's coming from various places. There's the Iranian ones that you mentioned, but there's the one shooter in Butler, Pennsylvania, and there's the alleged gunman in Florida. And so far, there's no reason to believe that those have ties to anybody. Those are just people who were sort of, activated on their own and went out to find him. And so for all of those reasons, it is clearly impacting, how they are operating day to day, and it is with some strain.
Maggie Haberman, always great to have you on. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Boris.